Welcome to OZChris vs. DC Comics for week 2 of July, here with reviews of Batman and the Outsiders number 3, Detective Comics number 1007, The Flash number 74, and Justice League Odyssey number 11. So starting off with Batman and the Outsiders number 3, written by Brian Hill, art by Dexter Soy, coloring by Veronica Gandini, the cover by Tyler Kirkham and Arif Priento. So, Sophia has been kidnapped by Ra's al Ghul, who is trying to indoctrinate her to his cause. So to prepare them to face a threat on a grand scale, which is Ra's al Ghul, Batman has the Outsiders fight him. He has them meet in the waterways in 3 hours, and as this is going on, we see Ra's attempts to indoctrinate Sophia to his cause, to give in to her anger, to her rage. He believes that I can bring you to your fullest potential. What your father couldn't have, I can do for you. And the training session for the Outsiders is revealed to be Karma, which was from, I believe his name was Karma. I'm pretty sure it was Karma, who was from Brian Edward Hill's one story arc during Detective Comics, the precursor to this series. And Karma's just telling Duke, who Duke has been having recurring nightmares of having to deal with the events of that story arc in Detective Comics. So it weighs heavily with him having to face the source of his anguish. So they fight, and it seems like Sophia is ready to give into Raish's ideals, but it's revealed that Karma was actually Bruce in disguise, and what this lesson was for Duke to accept that he's now part of a team. They need to work together, and he's proud that He's proud of Duke, as he says, "I'm proud of you, and I know exactly what you're feeling." Cassandra was the one that told Batman of Duke's fears about Karma and all that, and not being able to work with a team. So we'll leave it there. So issue number 3, for the story, I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. This was a really good, story. It nicely wrapped up Duke's anguish that started with the first issue. I believe it wrapped it up very well. His fear was Karma, so he needed to come face to face with his fear to help overcome it, and to depend on a team. He's now on a team. He's not just working with Batman anymore. He's working with a team, and he needs to trust and depend on them. And this issue does this really well. And I'm liking the stuff of what's going on with Sophia. Ra's al Ghul trying to indoctrinate her. Really good stuff. The art and the coloring, I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5. The art and coloring of this was really, really good. This scene of where Sophia's going through a hallucination where she's getting consumed by a dragon. The art and coloring on that looks so amazing. But the art and coloring overall was really, really good. It was great art and coloring. The cover itself, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I love the art. I love the coloring on this one. It doesn't particularly have anything to do, in a way, with the contents of this issue. Black Lightning's saying, "I'm calling you out, Batman. Show yourself," as if to confront him. Black Lightning's not really the one that's confronting Batman. It's really Duke, but being confronted by Karma, who is just Bruce Wayne in disguise. But art and coloring wise, it's a good cover. So on to Detective Comics number 1007. I Am Vengeance, I Am the Night. The end of Let It Bleed, this story arc featuring the Spectre, written by Peter J. Tomasi, the art by Kyle Hotz, coloring by David Barron, the cover by Kyle Hotz. So the cult, which is revealed to be called the Cult of the Divine Hand, the reason why they've captured Jim Corrigan is that they want to separate the Spectre from him and use it for themselves. They just want to control the Spectre and use it to inflict their own form of vengeance. Hence why they are all dressed up as the Spectre. They are the cult of the divine hand. They worship the Spectre and they want to control it. And while this is going on, Batman's trying to look over the crime scene to see if there's any clues, a hologram version of the crime scene, to find any clues. And he's met by the Spectre, who tells him of his connection to Jim Corrigan, why they're so important to one another. But Batman wants to help him, but he tells him that his only condition is that the Spectre spills no blood. He wants the Spectre to promise not to spill any blood just from the get-go. The Spectre agrees only on the condition that only if they force his hand, there will be blood, but there will be no death. So they're able to track down where Corrigan is, and are able to save him from the cult of the divine hand. And that is it. So story, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. Really good. Nicely wrapped up this 2-issue story arc. See comics, stories don't have to be 5 to 7 issues long. They could easily just be 1 or 2. And this does it very well. It doesn't rush anything. I didn't feel like there's a whole lot of dialogue thrown at me just to explain everything so that the story could finish a bit quicker. This was done at a nice, easy pace. So I really like the story here, especially how that was done. The art and the coloring by Hotz and Baron, I'm gonna give that a 4.5 out of 5. I actually like the art and coloring more than the previous issue, despite the fact it was the same artist and color. So I kind of wish we get a bit more. I don't know if Hotz is going to continue after this. I kind of hope so in a way. I would like to see him on something else that has something to do with the Spectre, or more of like the supernatural fantasy side of the DC. His art and the coloring for the Spectre is really good, especially that scene where he meets Batman and he's just like he appears as the T-Rex in Batman's Batcave. There's amazing art and coloring on that, and it's a great looking page. I really love the art and coloring in this comic. The cover itself, I'm going to give a 4 out of 5. Good looking cover, good art, good color. Good art and good coloring. Sorry, voice. It is a good cover. It really does have a connection to what's going on in the story itself. Batman and the Spectre coming into conflict because of their ways of how they approach just anything. So onto the Flash, number 74, Out of Time, chapter 5 of year 1, written by Joshua Williamson and Howard Porter, art by Howard Porter, coloring by Hi-Fi, the cover by Porter and Hi-Fi. So King Turtle has used Old Man Flash to race back in time in order to take the speed of the younger Flash. He's taken the old Flash's speed, but he needs more, and what he needs is the younger Flash's speed. So Flash is able to rescue his older self and takes him away, and his older self tells him of King Turtle's plans and how Barry is essential to those plans, but and he tells him that because he's so essential to his plans, he should just run away. If he can't get to your speed, his plans won't work, and it won't really save the day, but it will save everything in the long run. But Barry is not okay with that. He's not okay with running away, despite the fact he's now super fast. He's not okay with running away from this situation, but he's reminded of a conversation he's had with his mother. Bad things might come of it in the future, but I know my heroes would never let something like this get them down. That's my Barry, always hopeful. Whatever happens in this life, never lose that place, never let go of hope. And that's what Barry has. He's not going to run away from his problems. He's going to run in head first and save the day, because that's what the heroes would do. And as such, doing this, he's now got his proper Flash suit. Good looking page there, and I'll leave it there. So he goes to finally confront King Turtle for the final battle. The story, 4 out of 5. This is a really good issue. Really good hammering in of like the core values for Barry and him becoming this fully fledged hero, becoming the Flash now. He is now properly the Flash now. This issue does a really good job of it. Interesting to see what King Turtle's going to do, especially with the end. What happens? What King Turtle does at the end. Interesting to see how that's going to work. Possibly given the whole time travel stuff, whatever. But this was definitely a good issue. The art and coloring, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 as well. Good art, good coloring, pretty much great art and great coloring. I love the double page spreads they have that Porter and Hi-Fi does it. They are so good. That page, and definitely the page where Barry now has the Flash suit on. My favorite pages of art and coloring. The cover itself, I'm also going to give a 4 out of 5. Good art, good coloring. Has something to do with the contents of this issue, so good. And on to Justice League Odyssey number 11, written by Dan Abnett, art by Will Conrad, the coloring by Ivan Placencia and Pete Pentazes, and the cover by Carlos Dianda. So the JLO and Darkseid have finished collecting the necessary pieces for the relic to complete Sepulchre to help defend them when Perpetua, destroys the multiverse and all that. It will spare them from destruction. But Jessica and everyone, they're still worried about Darkseid. They still don't believe he's 100% has the best of intentions. So Vic believes that he can take control of the relic, but the rest of the members all prepare for the worst outcome. So Azrael calls forth his soldiers. Jessica gets inside of their skull ship to prepare the weapons, etc. And Cyborg learns more about how the relics and Sepulchre works, but he realizes something is going wrong with him, and Darkseid knows what exactly is going on. The machine part of the machine and mother box part of Cyborg is starting to take over. Throughout this issue, Vic will just say ping, like the ping noise that the mother box makes. That sound, he starts saying ping, and it starts to increase up to this part where he realizes what is going on, what's happening to him. So the JLO begin their attack against Darkseid, but Vic is incapacitated because of what's going on with him, and given that Darkseid controls the entire relic that's becoming Sepulchre, they don't stand a chance against him. But we'll see, and we'll leave it there. Story 4 out of 5. Really good issue, really interesting, especially with what's going on with Vic leading up to the end game with Darkseid's plans. It's very obvious it wasn't like 100%. Yes, I have very good intentions. It's obvious it's Darkseid, so the art and the coloring, I'm going to give a 4 out of 5. I really like the art, really like the coloring. Good art and good coloring. There's a lot of good pages with it, especially. The cover itself, I'm going to give a 3.5 out of 5. Usually JLO has really good covers, but they got a different artist. Not particularly a big fan of the art style and the coloring, but it's not terrible. It's not bad. It's above average, hence why 3.5 out of 5. But I know I didn't particularly just like the change with the change, given how good most of the recent covers were. But I can live with it. So that is it for those reviews. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time.